Greetings, EastEnders fans, and welcome to another episode of Albert Square After Dark, your weekly EastEnders podcast. This week, discussing the episodes broadcast between the 11th and the 14th of August 2025. Hello there, how are we this week? All good? Marvellous. Joining me as usual is Ree. Hello, Rihanna, how are you this week?
I'm all right, Rob. How are you? Are you recovered from our little meet-up last week?
Me and Ree met up in our old university haunts last week, didn't we? We had a few
We did.
drinks,
Yeah.
caused some chaos. I mean, has it changed as much as you thought it had? Was it weird going around our old haunts and everything? I found it a
Do you know
really
what?
weird, emotional time, actually. It felt strange.
It did feel strange. It almost felt like a ghost town, but
Mm,
yeah, it was busier than I was expecting it to be. But then, like, we went for a little wander around to
we
our old
did.
haunts, didn't we?
Yeah,
That
we
weren't that
did.
busy, like. So
Yeah.
that was quite
I
fun.
could walk around
But
and say,
yeah.
threw up in that bush. I'll snog someone over there. Yeah, it was great. Just I could see all the ghosts and the memories of university past. It was very, very
Yeah,
fun.
but what about that place we used to hang out? We used to like this, like it's called a common, isn't it? And it's a bit
Mm,
like country. It feels
gorgeous.
like you're in
Yeah,
countryside.
I
It's
miss
so
that
nice, like
common. Yeah,
horses in fields and
yeah, it's
everything.
gorgeous. I love that common.
There's a blooming bar next door now. Didn't have that
Yeah,
when we were there, did
I know.
they?
They could have left that there. We'd
Eh?
never have left that place if
No,
that
we
was there when
wouldn't.
we were there. And also, one of the old clubs that we used to go to, it had like a really old
Oh,
school, like
forgot about
flashing
that.
dance floor in it. Like you used to go in there about 2 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
absolutely off your head, and just be like, "Eh," and dance on the dance floor.
It
That
was an
has now,
underground one as well, isn't it? Like you
yeah,
have to go down steps to get
yeah,
into
like a
it.
proper basement. That is now a like what's it called? Pop World, did you say it was called?
Potwell, right. There'll be a lot of people in the UK who are very familiar with
I'd
Potwell because
never
it's a
heard
big
of it.
chain.
Yeah,
But Rob's never been to a Potwell before,
never.
so we went to the what's it called? Like they have an all day, like a daytime party
Yeah.
kind of thing on a Saturday. I think that's when you broke, Rob, when we
Yeah, it
went
was
in
just blew
there.
my mind because we went in there. It was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We went
No, we were
down
a
there
bit
to.
later, about five,
It
but
wasn't,
yeah.
yeah, but it had been open since two. You said,
Oh
and
yeah,
then,
yeah,
but like we go down there, perfectly like sociable time of the day. Everybody's hammered, like
yeah.
raving away. The dance floor's flashing, and then you go outside again, and it's like broad daylight. It's like this feels weird. You know,
And
I'm
that's
doing
when
gay.
Rob broke and said, "I
Yeah,
think I just need to lay down in a
I
cup
did
of tea, Ree."
honestly, I did, and
You
then I
ordered us
livened up again.
Jaeger bombs in there as
I
well,
did,
Rob. That
I
was your
did.
fault. I mean,
It was
I
my
get it though.
fault.
It was that kind of vibe when you go in, weren't it? Like,
Yeah.
go have a Jaeger bomb
Can't be
while you're
Jaeger bomb,
here.
just like old times. So there we go. It's lovely to see you. We caused a bit of chaos in
Thank
Lincoln,
you.
just
Yes, we
like back in the
did.
old days. So there we go. On to this week's EastEnders. This has been it's quite a busy week actually. A lot of storylines sort of kicking off.
Mm.
The Joel storyline. My God, did that take a turn at the end of the week?
Yeah, just a bit.
Just a bit.
Interesting. I have a lot to say about this.
I that was a yeah, much to say.
Mm.
And the Avani storyline has finally sort of rightened itself. We feel like we're in more slightly sensible territory with it now, so that's good. That's
Yeah,
gone better.
yeah. I feel like the pacing didn't feel rushed this week at all
Mm.
either. Like we had a couple of weeks where we were like, "Oh, this pacing," but it does seem to have
It's
all
rightened itself
mellowed out.
for
Yeah,
now it's rightened
yeah.
itself. So fingers crossed that that's a sign for the future. And lots of other stories to discuss as well. Like I say, it's been a busy old week. So let's crack on with this week's Albert Square After Dark. Right, let's kick off this week with talking about Oscar and Lauren, Patrick and Yolandi. So, Oscar has developed a guilty conscience, understandably, about what's happened. And that is because Patrick appears to have developed some form of agoraphobia, is it?
Agoraphobia?
But then
Yeah.
it's kind of like he's scared of like those people coming back, so he doesn't want to like do big parties like he said to Yolandi. Like, "I'll forget the band, we'll just do like a small intimate thing." When obviously before the wedding he was like
Mm.
building it up to be like the biggest events as the royal wedding. Um, and Oscar is sort of feeling bad about this. So there were some nice scenes between Patrick and Oscar this week and Yolandi. I'm liking this little trio, and I'm kind of hoping that when the inevitable
Mm.
revelation comes that he was involved, they can move on and become like a nice little friendship.
Yeah, and they can kind of be like surrogate grandparents instead of Jim and Dot would
Yes.
be kind of nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Because they
yeah.
mentioned that a few times. But I'm waiting. I don't know if you thought it this week. You know when they were playing, what was they playing? Dominoes.
Yes.
Dominoes? Yeah, it was
Domino.
Dominoes.
Who's?
Domino
Yes.
hoo-hoos. I were expecting Patrick at one point, Oscar like showed his tag and I thought, oh, is Patrick, is it going to click like it did for
Yeah, for
Howie?
Howie, I wondered that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I were waiting for it, but then it didn't seem to happen. But We'll see, because I think at some point it will click. Maybe Oscar will wear a hat of some sort, and then
Yeah.
Patrick will be like, the eyes. I remember those eyes.
Well, what I was the shredder eyes. Yeah, what I was expecting was for Howie to walk in while he was there. I thought there was going to be some sort of movement there in terms of triggering Patrick's memory or something.
Ooh,
But I think
I
what it
hadn't
was,
considered that.
yeah, I think what it was basically about was just sort of establishing that Yolandi quite likes him, and Patrick's
Yeah.
kind of getting quite fond of him as well. I love the fact that they sat and played domino, so I thought that was really, really cute.
Yeah, I agree. And to be honest with you, I think Oscar's got the personality where he would have done that anyway and not just out
Mm,
of guilt. I think it's obviously at the moment it's out of guilt, but had he developed a natural relationship like that with Yolandi anyway, because he's the type of guy, if he'd have seen her walking through the square carrying something and struggling, he is the kind of guy who would have stopped and helped. I
do
do
you reckon?
believe that.
Do you
Yeah, I
reckon?
do. Yeah, I think he's a good egg deep down.
He's a good egg
I
deep
think he would
down.
have helped.
And I think it's interesting that he doesn't want to be anything like Max, who
Yeah.
the longer we wait, the sort of more we get to know Oscar, the
Mm,
more I cannot wait for Max to come back because I think it's going to be a really interesting
right.
dynamic. Yeah,
Am
really
I
excited
missing
about that.
something there? Is Max that bad? Like that everyone was saying?
Yes.
Am I misremembering
Well,
Max?
bear in mind, Ree, that he did try to kind of destroy the square at one point. He was trying
Oh
to,
yeah, I
yeah,
forgot
yeah,
about all that. Oh
all that
yeah, he
madness.
did.
Yeah, had affairs with everyone left, right, and centre, caused
Yeah, but
chaos
that's
wherever
just
he
Max,
went.
isn't it? Just
Oh,
expect that he's gonna have an affair, you know?
let
It's
him
like
live.
Cindy, isn't it? It's just like
Oh,
Cindy.
yeah, I don't imagine the people who talk that fondly about Cindy behind her back either, to be
I
fair.
know, but they've all let bygones be bygones with Cindy. Like, look at her and Elaine now and
Well,
her
I mean,
daughters.
they are a forgiving lot on Albert Square, to be fair, but yeah, it's it's sweet. Now, Dominoes, have you ever played Dominoes properly before?
Not properly
No,
now.
neither have I. I've kind of played it, and I'm yet to sort of see the absolute sort of white knuckle tension that Patrick seems to be applying to the game.
Maybe in his head he's putting bets
Yeah,
on left,
it's just
right, and
like a
centre
poker
and thinking
table.
about all the odds and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you just
Um,
match the numbers up to the next
Yeah,
number?
I would
Isn't
have thought
that
that's
it?
yeah, but then maybe we're amateurs and we don't understand the drama that can be
Right.
gained from a
Like
game of
chess. I
dominoes.
know how
Yeah,
to play chess, but I'm not interested enough to like try and play it well. I know
you
the
know,
rules, but
you know Duolingo, that
yeah,
language app
yeah.
that that they do chess on there, and I've started doing that.
Oh, no way. Oh, I'm actually
Mm.
quite interested how you said that. Oh,
Right, yeah,
interesting.
give that a
Okay.
go. It's good fun, I tell you.
All right.
I'd quite
All
like to
right.
learn how to play chess like really well and stuff. So we'll
All
see.
right.
Anyway,
Okay. Anywho.
anywho, Lauren meanwhile is sort
Yes.
of like really kind of Lauren basically wants Oscar to just remain away from the Trumans as much as he possibly can. Now, what is she kind of hoping to achieve from this? Because I'm guessing that she's worried that some sort of memory will be triggered, but at the same time him sort of trying to avoid them would feel sort of unnatural as well, wouldn't it? Would maybe look more
Well,
suspicious, wouldn't it?
I get that, but also he's only buddied up to him after it's happened. So
Mm,
he is doing it out of guilt. And also Oscar came that close to telling the police what happened. So I
mm,
think maybe Lauren's thinking, I don't want you to decide to be honest about everything because you're going to
mm.
end up back inside, which I understand her trying to protect him, even though he shouldn't have done it. It's turned into a complex situation now,
It
how he's
has a bit.
involved, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has
Otherwise,
a
they could
bit.
have just kind of given the money back.
Yeah.
But now there's also the other added complexity of Patrick being terrified as well,
Yes.
which I think will, if he doesn't figure out that it was Oscar or how he doesn't somehow get involved,
Mm.
I can see Oscar just telling him so he can be like, you don't need to be scared anymore, Patrick. All right, it were me. And I've been in your house loads since it happened and you're
Yeah. And
fine.
I've not
So
beaten
don't
you at
worry about
once.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's all
Um,
right.
I do feel like this is now we were in this mode where we
Mm,
get what Patrick's sort of really sort of freaking out and scared, and I can kind of see him wanting to sort of push the wedding back a little bit as well,
mm.
or not do it altogether. So I think now we're sort of under the impression why Anthony's coming back as well to try and sort him out from
Yeah.
this.
I was literally just thinking that as you were saying it. So that's a nice time to go. Get your son back. Maybe he'll
Mm,
feel a bit safer with him in the house for some reason. I don't know.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
just that comfort in it, having another family member there, I guess.
So where do we go from here then? How long do you reckon before the truth is out? Is it Oscar's just going to feel too guilty and just confess it, or is it going to be mixed in with the Howie stuff? Because I feel like actually how like I think Oscar can save himself. I think like Yolandi and Patrick will obviously blow up at him at first, but then I think
Yeah.
they'll understand the goodness in him. Whereas Howie, I feel like has got a lot more to lose.
Yeah, he's definitely got a lot more to lose. I'm wondering this, is it going to end up, is it going to go on a little bit longer and we're going to have a bit of Howie and Oscar beef in between, perhaps?
Maybe.
And
I can also see Anthony coming back and being the one that finds it out.
I could see Anthony being the one who finds out about
Yeah.
Howie maybe and figures that
Ooh,
side
maybe.
out. That could
Maybe.
be a good,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
But as for Oscar, it's either going to be Patrick will realise, or Patrick's going to say, maybe next week we're going to see that Patrick's not scared or anything anymore. We'll not understand why. And then in a few weeks' time, he'll say to Oscar, I knew it was you the minute we sat down and played dominoes, but
I
I can see
recognise the
you're a
tag.
good kid and
Recognise the
you're
tag.
Jim's grandson. And,
Yeah.
I
I
can't, I
think
don't want you
that's
to go get in trouble or I don't know, something like that.
I do think the fact that he's Jim's grandson is actually going to be what saves him from going back to prison, to be fair.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
I mean, still, any scene that has Oscar in is just lights up the screen. I absolutely love him. He's brilliant, isn't he?
He is actually a really good addition.
He
Yeah, and he
really
does
is.
light up the screen. He's nice. Even when he's doing serious scenes, he adds some joy.
Yeah. He's very versatile already, you can tell, can't you? Like
Yes.
he's gonna be brilliant at comedy, which I imagine they'll
Uh-huh.
give him a lot because
Yeah.
he's really adept at comedy. He can do the serious stuff. I think he's gonna be a big character moving forwards. I'm really looking forward to seeing it, especially once the Brannings are sort of all together again. It's all gonna
Mhm.
kick off, and I'm very excited about it. Harry, Kojo, and Oki's storyline developed a little bit more this week. Oki is becoming quite the little troublemaker, isn't he?
He's becoming quite the, would you call it grooming? I feel like he's
As
grooming
a,
Oki
you,
somewhat.
you could argue that, I would say. He's definitely, I mean,
Yeah.
he's definitely sort of won Kojo round, and Kojo's quite enjoying this new friendship that he's got. It's so sweet, Kojo. I can't believe that you thought he was going to kill Cindy. It's really
I know,
sweet.
right? What were I thinking back
What were
then?
you thinking?
Honestly,
He's
only me thinking it,
adorable.
weren't there?
Well, Oki's trying to use Kojo's flat as a new place to like store all the, you know, drugs
Drugs,
and mobile phones or whatever the
cash.
hell, cash,
Yeah,
everything, basically
whatever
everything.
dodgy business is into.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's going to be like cars and things planted in there soon. Like
Mm.
it's going mad. And so what he's now done is arranged for some of his mates to go around the Archers and give Kojo like a bit of a like give him some hassle so that he
That's
can then
right.
yeah, and then he can then sweep in and be the hero. And the Kojo's like, oh my god, you're amazing. Unfortunately, Elaine
Mm.
gets mixed up in that. Should we talk about Elaine falling backwards?
Ah,
Ah!
that- oh, yeah, it was.
Bless her, bless her.
Do you know what it was very apparent to me is they recorded it after the fall, like
Oh yeah,
after the
because
stunt
yeah,
in
yeah,
the
and then she made that
comments.
noise in post
Yeah,
production as well, just in a microphone,
yeah,
like oh,
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
bless her. I always wonder, those shots that like clearly look fake as they're sort of slowly
Yeah.
falling backwards. I always wonder, like, how did they make the final cut? Bless them, but
This is what I'm not understanding because for me, we didn't need to see. We could have just seen him push,
yeah,
and then we could have just cut to her landing on the floor. We didn't need the
I
falling
yeah.
back bit in
I
between,
don't
did
think
we?
Harriet Thorpe is that delicate that they couldn't have just pushed her over and she lands on a mattress or something out of frame. It would be fine.
Yeah, I think yeah, totally. Did they get a stunt? They must have got stunt
No,
doubling and everything maybe for that one little push.
oh, you know what soap
You
operas are like.
reckon?
They need a stunt double to step down up a curb, for
Oh, they
God's
can't do it
sake,
out
don't they?
these
No,
days,
can't do
can
that
they?
these days. Can't put the insurance and health and safety.
Yeah.
That wins Kojo over. Harry is obviously very worried and suspicious that
Hmm.
something's going on. It's a good job George has moved out, isn't it?
In it, well, is it
Well, not for
actually?
them. It's
Would have
not.
been better if
It's
he
good for
wasn't.
It's good for Oki that he's
Yeah.
moved out. But I feel like this would put more. He'd put more pressure on Harry as well, wouldn't he?
Yeah, very true. So Harry's still living there though, isn't he? Like Harry's
Yeah.
now taken George's room, presumably.
I
What
would
the room
presume
that
so. He's
George
not on
was
the
in.
sofa anymore. And now I
Mm.
wonder if Oki's now going to say, we've got a spare sofa now. Can I move in? Would that be all right? And then that's going to make things 10 times worse.
You never know. Well, he's already got a spare key, hasn't he? We're already like, oh, we'll need a
That was
spare key
mad.
to let ourselves in.
Yeah, I don't know if that was entirely like sort of Kojo going, yeah, that's fine. Like, you don't think
Wasn't
you
there a
would.
thing? I feel like there was a thing a few years ago, and it may have been in London, and I don't know if you'll have heard of it. And there were some like gangs and of criminals, and I think they were drug dealers, and they were targeting like vulnerable young adults,
Yes.
right? That may have been similar like to Kojo, because
Yeah.
is Kojo autistic? They have. Have they
Yes.
outright said that on the
I
EastEnders?
think so. Yeah, I think they did because when he
Yeah,
first came in, they were talking about how difficult he is to look after and all of that
yeah,
kind of thing, weren't
yeah.
they? When his brother came
So
around.
a vulnerable adult, and I feel
Mm,
like there was a spate of this where they were targeting them in London, these vulnerable adults who lived on
right.
their own, and basically doing what they're doing with Kojo. So I think maybe they've taken inspiration from that happened in real life.
Mm.
So I don't think this is going to end very well. I think Kojo is going to end up in a lot of trouble.
Oh,
I
he
think
is.
it might
He really,
result in
really
him
is.
getting sent down or something for it all and being
Maybe.
implicated massively.
And also bear in mind, Ravi hasn't found out yet that Kojo is the reason that his drugs went missing in the first place.
Well, this is the bit I can't quite fathom because does Ravi know that Erky's trying to use Kojo's flat for all of this?
Well, Ravi, because Ravi and Harry had a conversation this week where Harry was sort of like,
Mm.
"No, this needs to like change. You can't be using Kojo's flat." And Ravi's like, "Not my problem, mate. Like,
Oh
it's."
yeah,
So
because
Ravi's
he's got
aware. Yeah,
HMRC breathing down his neck, hasn't he?
exactly,
Yeah. So
exactly.
he's
So
like, I don't care as long as job's done.
I mean, if I was Harry, I'd be looking for a different location. Like that would be my first thing. Like it's like just trying to
Mm,
like find somewhere new for these things to go. So like just put them in there. That's fine. No one's suspecting that. That's new. Rather than
true.
using Kojo's flat, but he's not doing that. He's just panicking.
Can he afford it though? Because then he'd have to presumably
Yeah.
put some money up front, and I'm guessing he can't really afford that if he's had to move in with
Well, I mean,
Kojo.
it wouldn't even have to be a house, would it? It could just be anything, like a shed or something like
Storage
that.
unit of some
Yeah.
kind. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just
Without
like I
allotments.
was gonna say use the place that the Bianca was locked up
Yeah.
in. That'd be all right. Be
Reese isn't
fine.
using it anymore, is he?
Exactly. Reese doesn't need it. Is it still full? I wonder if it's still full of all those old tubers and Debbie
Oh,
stuff and
Brenda all
everything.
took everything out.
Oh, I bet she would. Yes, and glared at it all as
Mm.
it came out. So yeah, this doesn't look good for Kojo. Where is this going, do we think? Like, what's the ultimate
This,
end game?
I think
Do you reckon
Kojo's
he's
going to
going
end up getting
down?
in trouble with the police. Yeah, either that or, like you say, he's going to get physically hurt somehow. And
Yeah.
I don't feel like it is. I feel like he's going to be the fall guy for everything. I feel
Yeah,
like
I
it might
mean,
be headed that kind of direction.
I feel like it's going to. It depends whether Ravi actually finds out about this or not. I feel like he should find out about it, but at the same time, I feel like the plot actually could move quite cheerfully onwards without Ravi ever finding out that Kojo was responsible for that, couldn't it?
Yeah, very true. I wonder if he'll ever find out. But then if he does, like, let's be honest, like, bad guy Ravi
Mm,
would be beefing, but
yeah.
good guy Ravi would understand the situation. So it depends on whether he stays bad guy Ravi and for how long, which he
Well,
does
the
seem to be at the minute.
like you say, the ultimate problem is the fact that HMRC are breathing down his neck. So if that wasn't happening, he might be a little bit kinder about it. But because he's got all
Yeah.
these big money problems because of Bernie nicking all the money, I think he's desperate. So
Mm.
it's not going to go well. It's not going
No,
to go
it's
well at
not going to
all.
go
And
well.
plus, Rafi's getting more and more stressed with everything that's going on with Avani anyway. His hair is going to be stuck up soon the way it's going.
Oh yeah, he's doing all
Yeah,
right. His hair's still slick
yeah.
at the
We
minute, but
know
yeah,
when
there's
Ravi's
time.
stressed because he's got like a
Mm.
backward Mohican at the back of his
Yeah.
head. Like
They've
someone's gone at him with a
backcombed it, haven't
balloon.
they? A little bit,
Yes,
yeah. Then we
yes.
know. Mm.
So yeah, not good stuff. I wonder if Nicola's going to end up getting involved again soon.
Well, this is interesting, isn't it? Because we were talking last week about how much the Mitchells and the
Mm,
Knights have been entwined, and then they're all
yes,
entwined again. Like you've got Harry, I mentioned Harry and Gina only last week, I think, and now they're
yes. Harry and Gina are
maybe
now have kissed.
rekindling.
Well,
Yeah,
they
they've kissed,
have they
yeah.
kissed, tonguing in the
They've
Vic. They were.
kindled. They have
Yes,
kindled
they have
again,
kindled.
rekindled.
They are aflame, which
Yes.
is nice. I like them together. I think they work well together. I think they're a good pairing, and it does fit into this category that of men that Gina always seems to go for,
Yeah.
where it's someone a bit messy that she can sort of
Yeah.
work on.
That she can inverted commas fix a little
Fix.
bit.
Yeah, even though
Fix,
apparently she's
yeah.
the worst handyman that's ever lived when it comes to fixing
Yeah,
people.
true. And
Yes.
she should probably shouldn't be getting involved in anyone who's around all of the drugs at the minute, but
You'd
there we
think
go.
not, because with
Mm,
her own history with drugs. So yeah, this none
yeah,
of this is going to end well. It's all going to get
no.
very, very, very messy. Kojo's going to end up in the back of the boot somewhere. I can see that coming.
You still think back of the boot for
Oh God, yeah,
Kojo?
yeah, God, yeah.
Interesting.
They love throwing people in the back of the boot with a gang storyline.
Is George going to find out? Because is this why? Because Nicola knows about what happened with Kojo. Obviously, we've had George and
Yes,
Nicola being a thing this week.
yes, yes.
So we had George, didn't we, singing his Daddy Cool song this week, and Elaine and Cindy
Right.
noticing.
Can we just discuss the whole Daddy Cool thing, right? Okay. I don't know how much I believe that somebody would sing one specific song every time they get laid.
I
What would your
mean,
and if it is, what would yours be?
oh God, not Daddy Cool.
Not Daddy Cool? No?
No one would, but actually, I think it does kind of fit for George because it's almost like a cringy dad thing.
Yeah, I mean, I know what mine would be every time I got laid if I was singing a song.
Oh,
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
wondered where you were going with that then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not sure, but then it was quite funny because obviously Gina and not Gina, Cindy and Elaine are talking about it, and Gina
Mm.
comes in like, "Oh, singing Daddy Cool again," and their sharing looks like, "Yeah, we know what that means."
Can you imagine knowing that that's your pet, one of your parents' sex song, and then
Well,
every
she
time you
does
hear it,
now.
I know.
Cindy had to just tell her though, didn't she?
Oh
You notice
yeah,
how Cindy just cut like Elaine weren't going to tell her what it meant, and Cindy's like,
yeah.
"Well, he sings it when he's had a good night," and Anna's like, "What? What are you on about?"
Oh yeah. Anna didn't have a clue what was going on, did she? Bless
No.
her.
Anna's come back a little bit more ditzy, I feel.
She has. I don't mind it necessarily because they've written it. They've written her quite well. It's when
Yeah, it
I
still
feel. I feel
fits a character.
it does. I feel like ditzy characters are very difficult to write because you tend to go a little bit too far with it sometimes, and it's just like
True.
nobody is that stupid. But I think
Yeah.
that they're sort of like dealing with her quite well at the moment for
Mm.
however much longer we've got Anna for. Um, Cindy finding out about Nicola. I'm telling you now, this is the start. This is the start of a feud that we want. It's happening. They're aligning of one another, aren't they? They're weighing
Yeah.
it up.
They're
Yeah.
very similar in a lot of ways, aren't they? Like
Well,
like
Nicola
even
said that.
Nicholas spotted.
Nicola
Yeah,
said
yeah.
that. Blonde bitch owns a bar.
Not his type.
Hmm.
Yeah, very good drama. But are Nicola and George going to continue? Because he seemed like he wanted to end things.
I feel
It's
like he
because
just
she
wanted.
offered to give him a massage.
Well, I feel that was more about Elaine than anything else. I feel like he had no interest whether Cindy cared or not. But I
Yeah,
feel like it was the fact that Elaine had heard about it and he felt a little bit guilty about that.
yeah,
Elaine appeared unbothered, but obviously she was a bit bothered,
yeah.
wasn't she?
Yeah, I was just thinking that as you said it, like Elaine seemed like she weren't that bothered, but I
Mm,
think she must be a bit. But I guess unlike Cindy, she recognises I'm not in a relationship with him anymore, so
nothing you
he
can
can
do.
do what he wants. Do you know what I did think we saw when because it was George who ended it with Nicola, when
Mm.
originally Nicola ended it with George the first time. I don't know what happened in between because we've not seen that. We've just been led to believe that it meant
Lots of sex
nothing.
apparently. Daddy
Well, yeah,
cool. Daddy
Daddy cool, what's Daddy
cool.
cool?
Yeah.
I feel like we saw that soft side to Nicola that we've been wanting to see a bit of. When George let her
Yes.
down, she looked very hurt, like she'd
Mm.
really got her hopes up and like, oh, yeah, yeah, it was just a bit of fun. Like, wasn't for me, it was serious. I was planning which engagement ring you were going to buy me and everything.
Yeah, I mean, is there a more vulnerable side to Nicola we're yet to see? Because I feel like Cindy hasn't really got that much of a vulnerable side to her, unless it's like directly
Yeah,
affecting her. But is there more of a vulnerable side to Nicola that we're yet to scratch away at?
yeah, I think we saw a glimpse of it this
Mm,
week with that bit when George said that to her. She looked upset. And we have seen it a little bit with Nicola, like when she offered Avani that advice a bit ago. I think it was after all the Joel stuff.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
she were a lot softer then, and that was when she were in the middle of all the Barney stuff, and
yeah.
she still took a minute to go, right, my son's friend needs me, therefore, like, my son needs me.
Good
And we saw
mum.
that softer side. I mean, I won't go that far,
Won't go that
Rob.
far. No, we
I
won't
mean,
go
she has a
that far.
moment. She has a
She
good mum
does.
moments, we'll say.
The thing is, I always think about, a good mum and Wolford. Actually, being a good mum is just about being there for your kid come hell or high water. Like you'll go to war on your own for your
Hmm.
kids. And I feel like actually Nicola does fall into that category a little bit, as long as everything's all working out in her favor. Like, killing your boyfriend's
I was
girlfriend is maybe a
say,
little bit outside of that criteria, but
except for the dead bodies.
apart
We
from the
have to
dead
forget about a
bodies,
lot of dead
yeah,
bodies, don't we,
you
these
know,
tenders?
every mum makes mistakes. I'm sure you've got a few dead bodies buried already.
Shh, Rob.
Sorry. So yeah, I can see Nicola and George starting up again, and I feel like
Yeah,
they wouldn't have done that Cindy Nicola exchange if that wasn't going to turn into something. And
no.
I'm telling you now, I need it to happen. Put it in my veins. I'm ready
You know
for it.
what? Cindy's going to find out that he's called it off and gloat like mad. Then
And
hopefully they're
that's
going to
gonna,
have some wars between Harry's barn and the Albert
yeah,
as well because of
yes,
it.
yes, yes, yes,
Oh
yes,
yeah,
yes,
and then you've got
yes.
Elaine and Cindy
Yeah,
there.
it writes itself, Ree. Writes itself.
Yeah, they didn't need to write it. It writes itself, doesn't it?
Done, done. I'm excited. Bring it on. It's going to be a bit of
Yeah.
camp madness. That looks
Mm.
sounds like it's going to be fun. Right, ladies and gents, let's move on to the next story.
So Honey had a meeting with Mr. Lister this week, and she was anticipating that she was going to get a little pay rise and a little bit of a promotion because she had
Yes.
it in her head that Mr. Lister was going to retire and his job position of area manager would be upright,
Hmm.
and therefore she could take it. But no, Mr. Lister said, That's not happening anymore. In fact, he
No.
acted like he'd never had that conversation with her, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't quite. Half of me kind of thinks that Honey could have completely and utterly misinterpreted something she said because it's Honey, but at the same time, I'm sort of like, what? I don't know what this was, other than just that they want Honey back in the minute mark, which suits
I
her
think that is
fine.
what it was.
And they
Because we
mean,
do need to see why has she quit the job as the
yeah,
market inspector, because she
yeah,
has supposedly been enjoying it. And I think that is all it was,
yeah.
because Alfie's left the minute mark. There's no longer a manager. Vinny's been, I think Vinny's hair were a bit all over the place this
Do you know what I
week at
loved?
minute mark.
When that scene between when Vinny was in the minute mark and then Honey told him how to use the till, half of me for a second was just like, how can Vinny not know how to use the till? But then my brain just went because it's Vinny, and then I just
Because
moved
it's
on.
Vinny. Yeah, he's not
Of
figured
course he
out you
doesn't know how
need to
to
press
use the
seven
till. No, of
first.
course he doesn't know that. It's Vinny, bless him. I mean, nice to see Mr. Lister again. I like Mr. Lister. They've
Yeah, I
got
like Mr. Lister.
some funny stuff with him this week. I like his interplay with Honey. It's quite fun.
Yeah, yeah. But it seems like it's going to be no more. So is Zach going to be the new market inspector? Because that does not seem like the right place
I
for Zach to be going if
can't
that is
see
what it
that if I'm
is.
honest. I mean, again, why would he be in those scenes? But at the same time, I can't really see why Zach would want to do that because
Yeah,
he's
me
like
neither.
he
But
enjoys
why was he
fitness and
in
all this
those
kind of thing.
scenes?
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless
So,
it were meant to be somebody else and they just got Zach in at the last minute. But
so what? I mean, what was the purpose of these scenes? Is it because they want somebody new as market inspector, or is it because they want Honey back in the minute mark? What was
I
the
think it's because they want Honey
motive?
back in the minute mark,
Right.
definitely.
Okay. And then
Why did she quit? Was it when that thing happened with her and Suki when Suki made a pass at her? Is that when she
yes,
quit? Is that when she
I can't
left?
remember whether Suki fired her or whether she quit.
Oh, I think she did fire her. And then I
Yeah.
think Honey just kept quiet, didn't
Yeah,
she?
which again, like Suki should have been sued through her arse about that.
Honey were
But
being nice, bless her, weren't she? What a
yeah,
people pleaser that she can be, our Honey. Yeah.
indeed. So there we go. So basically, Honey's going to be back at the minute mark after she's had a bit of holiday. I like to say, yes, I will do that, but I will have a 2 week holiday beforehand, and then I will start work when I'm ready.
And I love that Vinny just offered her two
Yeah, that's all
pound
right.
more an hour than
Yeah,
what she's
yeah,
on, not knowing what she's actually on. They
yeah.
might have
Which
a bit
is
of a shock there.
exactly like all of a sudden the minute mark's absolutely bankrupt
Yeah.
just for
That's
Honey's
another
wages.
business. That's another Panasar business out Swanee because of Vinny that
Because
this
of Vinny.
time. Yeah.
That's another business down the drain, thanks to Vinny. There we go. So I mean, yeah, fair enough. This was what it was. I thought it was some nice, light-hearted little scenes. I enjoy
Yeah.
Mr. Lister, so I
Yeah.
guess it was what it was. But we'll see what it all means, I suspect, in the coming weeks. Right, ladies and gents, let's talk about the bigger stuff that kicked off this week, and we'll start off with talking about Avani. Praise the Lord, thank Christ, we're in sensible territory again with the Avani storyline. She has
Hallelujah, one might say, Rob.
hallelujah, indeed. No, not my sex song, hallelujah. She's had a termination, and I think by the sounds of things, in the way that like the timing of it all sounds like it's quite late in the process, so she's sort of experiencing like some cramps and all that kind of thing, isn't she?
Well, she's about 12, 13 weeks. So
Mm,
yeah, it would definitely be, I think, a different procedure than if she'd have had
yes.
it earlier on. Because they said she had a surgical
Yeah, this is
procedure,
what I
didn't
mean. I
they? Yeah,
because when
yeah,
we've seen this sort of thing previously, it's been like the whole two-pill thing, and I
yeah.
feel like this, because it was a bit further along this time, it
Mhm.
felt like it needed to be an actual procedure.
Yeah, so no wonder it's affected her differently. And they're all quite right in pointing out, had she just had it done the first time she went in before Suki stopped her, it possibly
Mm,
wouldn't have been as
would have
bad
been
as
easier.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's all out. Everybody now knows what Suki has been up to. Um,
Oh.
yes, I mean this all boils down because of Eve. As I suspected Eve had been doing, was never really 100% convinced that this was a great idea. And so
Yeah,
any
fair. I'm
sort of
glad you saw that because I thought, no, she's
yeah,
been fully turned
I
round
think
to
she
Suki's
was
way of thinking.
I
And
think it was what it was two separate things. I think she'd sort of been kind of brought back to the idea of maybe I could have kids, whilst at the same time thinking, but what we're doing with Avani is wrong.
yeah, yeah, true. I still don't think though now that this has happened with Avani that she'd go, right, well, should we have kids in a more conventional way now,
Yeah.
Suki? Like, I can't see that happening. I think she'll just be like, yeah, do you know what? Still don't want kids. Actually,
Mm,
if anything, I've realised I really don't want them. So if that's what you
yeah.
want, Suki, is it the end? Anyway, we'll get
Well,
to it,
is
I
it the end?
guess.
Is it the end? Yes, indeed.
Well, yeah.
So basically, Avani's having more doubts this week, and she's sort of talking and realizing that actually she hasn't really thought the whole thing through. And again, I've got the sense that Eve sort of like not jumped on it, but sort of sensed any opportunity that Avani was having any doubts whatsoever. I thought that Eve was just going to go along with it and do the right thing,
Yeah, which she did, didn't
which
she?
she
So
did.
Avani Well, they wanted to go to a hot tub party. My first thought was, Avani, you can't go in a hot tub when you're
I didn't
pregnant.
know
Does she not
this.
know
No,
this?
I didn't know this. I didn't
Yeah.
know this was a thing. So you can't go in a hot tub at all when you're pregnant.
You can't go in a hot tub or a sauna when you're pregnant because
Can
of
you
the
have a bath?
temperatures. You can have a bath, but as long as it's like a sensible temperature. But I'll tell you something. I used to love a bath, and when I was pregnant, I didn't have one because I was terrified of it
Yeah.
being
Oh, I
too
bet.
hot.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think
Well,
I tried once, and it were freezing cold. Like, this is fun.
this is
I
worse.
love baths.
It's a nice bath. Yeah. So yeah, she goes to this party. I
Mm,
think it's just basically because Avani's realizing I can't be a normal kid now, can I?
no,
And
yeah,
everybody's going to
that's
find
it.
out about it. I'm going to get all this crap at school because of everything that's gone on with Joel, and I don't blame her at all. Like
No,
there was no
even
no part of this was
no.
sensible.
Well, even down to what she was wearing, because obviously they commented saying, "No, she's had to whack the tracksuits out now because she's showing."
Yeah.
And then she's turned up to this hot tub party, like in trackies and stuff. And
Mm,
Amy's like, "You can go and put your bikini on." And then she
yeah.
said the excuse, "I'm on my period." It's like
Yeah.
she still would have been wearing something, a bit more party like
Yeah,
rather than
yeah, yeah.
trackies, I
And
think,
like
normally.
drinking and like yeah, so she
Yeah,
everything
not
was
even
great. Yeah.
thinking.
I quite enjoyed Nugget hiding from Suki.
Yeah,
Bless him.
good
And
old
actually,
Nugget.
Nugget proper stepped up this week, didn't he? Like when he found out Avani had been
Yeah.
pregnant, like he was like straight on the sofa, put his arm around her. I thought it was a really nice Nugget moment. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
good.
I'm
He's a good
glad that
kid.
I'm kind of glad we didn't go down the incel route with Nugget. Otherwise, that would have
Yeah,
been a very different reaction.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
very
would.
nice big
Yes.
brother moment there.
Yes, bless him. He's a good egg. He's Nugget. We love Nugget. So Avani ends up at the termination clinic and has the procedure, and then she realizes that she just wants a mum, and
Bless
goes
her.
home and tells Priya and Ravi everything. And Suki returns home to discover that her secret is absolutely out there. She has been discovered, and Priya gives her a slap. Which I have to say was a worthy slap. I thought,
Yes,
yeah, I can, yeah.
agreed.
Mm.
I love Priya, and I think that Priya is a great mum, and I keep
I
saying
know
it,
you
and I
do, yeah.
really do think that she's a good mum.
I think she's a good mum. I think it comes under the category of, she's there for her kids no matter what. Yes,
Exactly.
you might do something a little bit dodgy now and again to sort of make sure that they're all right, but
Yeah.
it's for their benefit. She's not a
Yeah.
particularly selfish person in that regard, is she?
No, I think her kids are definitely the number one, but she, like you said, she's always there for them.
Yeah.
Even though it's strange that, like Ravi said it a few times, like, why didn't Avani just come to us? We kept saying it though, to be fair, because they're kind of cool parents, I feel like, because they're quite young, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think Avani doesn't realize quite how lucky she is in that family, to be fair, because I feel like there's not much that she could go to Priya with,
Yeah,
and Priya would go against her. I think she'd be like,
yeah.
right, okay, I get it, let's sort this out. And including this, I think she would have been
Mm.
absolutely grand with this whole situation.
Well, this could start a debate for you, right?
Go on.
Because I would class Priya actually as somewhat of a gentle parent, right? And I believe in gentle parenting as much as you can, okay? And that is that your kid can tell you anything without the fear of them getting into trouble, which I would say Avani's pretty much got with Priya.
I think she has,
Like,
yeah.
don't you
Yeah.
think?
Do you think this, yeah, do you think there's a fine
But then
balance
are
there?
there some
Because
things that they need to be in trouble for?
well, we've had this with Priya before, haven't we? Where Priya's
Mm.
kind of felt, am I being trying to be too much of a mate to my kids as opposed to just being a disciplinarian of some description?
But I don't think it is about being a mate. I think it's being there for them.
Mm,
And it's not doesn't mean you can't still be a mum and not be there for them. But then
mm.
if we flip that on the head,
Look at the way that
gentle
Ross is
parenting
dealing
is
with.
not going to work with someone
Oh,
like Joel.
exactly what I was about to say. Like,
Yeah,
look at Ross.
yeah.
Are you saying the same thing there? Like,
No,
it's a
not at
really
all.
fine, it's a fine line with kids, and you've got to be adaptable,
Mm,
haven't you, for the situation?
yeah,
And I think the thing basically is just honesty, isn't it? As long as you've got an
yeah,
honest
mm,
relationship with your kids, then you can kind of tackle anything,
yeah,
can't you? Yeah.
yeah. You do.
Priya and Ravi. That seemed to go up a little
Yeah,
notch
why
this
not?
week.
Go
It
on
feels like
then.
they're already together, and they're kind of not together, but
Yeah.
they're close. But they just like just have sex for goodness sake. Get on with it, honestly.
Maybe they are, Rob. Maybe
You
they are.
reckon?
Like you say, we're
Yeah.
just not seeing it. They are very close, but they've always been like that, I think. But
Mm,
then when he was with Denise, obviously, he had to have a bit of distance, I guess.
yeah.
But yeah, if he's not with Denise, let him be with Priya. She
I just-
understands everything he does as well. Like
She
she's
does, and
not,
she's cool with it as well, isn't she? She's like, "Don't tell me, and I can't get into trouble, but do what you need to
yeah,
do, but just don't be
yeah.
stupid." Yeah.
But she does also have a moments of like, don't be too dodgy. Like there's
Mm,
being dodgy and then there's being too dodgy. And I do
yeah.
think that
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
she knew what were going on with the Erky stuff, she'd be like,
Yes.
Ravi, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. As for Suki, she's been pretty much left with nothing. Everyone's moved out. Everyone's gone.
Well,
Yeah, I don't. She deserves this. I'm sorry. I love Suki
mm,
to bits, but she deserves every second of this.
oh yeah, in this particular scenario, but I hope they're not going to go down the path of making her like Nish. I know that she did have these traits before. It just did very much come out of the blue, all of this for Suki, like the
I just think,
pacing of
yeah,
it
they could have.
before when it all
They
happened,
Yeah,
and
they needed another week of preamble before we got to where we are if they were going to do it like
yeah,
this. I think that was the main issue with it.
mm,
But I'm glad that, sense has prevailed and that we're sort of in more kind of because it would have been. But now I look at it and I'm sort of like, well, obviously this is what was going to happen. Like there was no way Avani was going to go for a full term with this pregnancy. And now it seems ridiculous. But at the time when it first started, it was sort of like, is this actually what's happening? And it felt like it could because Suki is such a powerful character. You can actually imagine her making this a success in terms of her own planning and machinations, you know?
and a large part of it as well, which we were talking about, like it didn't get mentioned that much. It did a little bit this week about the money side with Avani. So she was
Mm,
fine taking the money.
yeah,
Had Suki perhaps actually noticed that Avani were having doubts, she might have gone, here, have a bit of money, go and treat yourself to a massage, really knowing, go and do what you want with
yeah,
Avani. It's just pregnancy money. She could
yeah.
have probably kept it going a bit longer.
Mm,
But it took Avani having that realization at the party, didn't it, on her own? And
yeah.
ironic that Eve was the one to help her, saying that
Well,
she's not like a mum and we're being quite a mum like
I
figure, I think, to Avani at some
Yeah, I
points.
mean, this is the thing. I think Eve is actually quite a motherly figure, and we've seen this even when
Yeah,
she was
she
living with the
is.
Slaters. She was
Mhm.
great with Lily. She's great with all of Stacey's kids. Stacey would trust Eve with any of her kids without a second's
Yeah,
thought. You know what I mean? So she
100%.
she is quite a motherly person, and I kind of feel
Mm.
like she's one of these that's actually looked back on her own past. I still really want to meet Eve's parents, by the way. This needs to happen at
Same.
some point because they sound
Hmm.
interesting. They
Yeah.
sound like a pain in the ass, but they do sound interesting. So we must meet the
Drama.
Mama. We must meet the Unwins at some point.
Yeah.
Interesting. I thought that Eve was the one that broke up with Suki because I thought that once Suki discovered that Eve had gone behind her back like that, that would have been Suki's punishment for Eve. But actually, Eve was like, "Yeah, I did," and actually, you're too much. See you later, and then just moves out.
Well,
So just the end of Suki
Suki
Eve.
tried to throw Eve under the bus as well
She
at one
did.
point, didn't
She
she?
did.
When she said,
She did.
I'd never go and get such a, permanent, what did she say? Like, permanent thing done to a body or something
Yeah.
like that, like a
Yeah.
procedure
Like a
behind your
tattoo.
back. It's like, oh yeah, just let her carry on being pregnant there for five
Yeah.
months.
I
Yeah.
mean, the plan was madness from start to finish. Like, there was
Yeah.
no. So, and when the hell was Suki going to actually be honest? She was. Eve got it right. She was going to wait until it was too late to have the determination, and then she was going to tell her. That was Suki's plan. Whether she chooses to admit that or not, that was exactly what the plan was, and it
Yeah.
was evil to do that to your own granddaughter. There's no two ways
Yeah.
about it. Like, no matter what your reasoning is, and whatever, no matter
Hmm.
what you believe your reasoning is, there's actually no way to save yourself from that.
Well, I thought this at one point this week when Eve were talking to Avani and she said something like, oh, your grandma were doing what she thought was right. She'd never want to hurt you. And I thought, actually, Eve, that's not right. And I think you know that's not right. Why are you telling Avani this now? She
Yeah, I
wasn't
mean,
really putting Avani's interest first
no,
at
she
any
wasn't
point
at
during
all. I mean,
this.
I think she's right in saying that Suki wouldn't want to hurt her, but I feel like
Yeah.
what Suki had done was just kind
Mm,
of disregard Avani's
yeah.
situation
Yeah.
in favor of her own. She hadn't thought
Yeah.
anything through
Yeah.
properly. It was just all about
Yeah.
her and making herself feel better about her own failings as a mother.
Yeah. She wouldn't intentionally set out to
No,
hurt Avani, but yeah,
no.
collateral damage
Yes, that's
unintentionally. So it's all
different.
right.
Yeah, collateral
It's
damage is a very
unintentional.
different thing.
Mm.
How does Suki move on from this? Do we think is this the end, or is this going to be fixable?
Well, can we say an
Balvin,
announcement we've heard, or are we going to
well,
wait for the news
official.
part?
No, I mean we did talk about it. It was rumored a couple of
Yeah.
weeks ago, and we said about it. Balvinda Sopal officially announced for Strictly, hearing that she's not actually taking a break from the show or anything. She's going to do both. So
Wow, fair play. I was
yeah,
expecting her to fully take a break.
some of them don't, some of
Okay,
them do.
so
So
yeah. So maybe it doesn't mean the end then. I mean, it'd be pretty bold for Wadey to wade in his with size nines and split Suki and Eve up,
you're a
eh?
clever bugger, you are it, you with your puns. Yeah, I mean it's like I say, it's brave. He's strolled in, messed up Suki, messed up Ballum, brave
Oh
man,
yeah, I'm balanced.
very brave man.
I mean, is there any coming back? I
I
don't
mean,
know. They had quite an intense argument, Suki and Eve, as well,
uh,
where they almost looked like they were going to get physical with each
do you
other at
reckon?
one point.
Do you reckon?
It seemed a bit like it, remembering. Was it Suki who said to Eve, you're being like Nish? And it like, pot
Yeah,
kettle, I think.
that was insane for her to say that to Eve of all
Yeah,
people. Like, oh right,
yeah.
I'm being like the man who
Mm,
arranged for me to be taken to the woods and buried, am I, Suki? If that's what you're telling
yeah,
me,
nice
like,
one.
no,
Mm,
love, ridiculous. She deserves everything she's got from this, essentially, as does Suki. So I can see. I think she's full of regret now that she's
yeah.
realised that, like, when she saw Avani like in pain and in the hospital, and realising actually the chaos that she's caused from this, I feel like she was feeling a bit guilty, and especially the fact that she's now been left. Everyone's just walked away from her. I feel like she's suffering for the consequences now. Can she rebuild relationships? Has this affected Avani and Suki's relationship permanently as well?
I don't feel like it has because even in her moment of need of Arnie, I know Suki was probably the only one in the house, but when she was feeling ill, she still went to Suki straight away and got a
Mm,
cuddle off her. So
yeah. And no matter how annoyed that Eve was with Suki, she actually like went out of her way to try and sort of steady that relationship by saying she'd never want to hurt you. This is something that, yes, it was a mad plan, but she had your best interests at heart in inverted commas.
yeah.
But it should be enough to sort of keep Ivani on side so much. But
Well, for Suki and Eve, I think we're gonna have a bit of angst for a few
yeah, I mean, I think
months,
they'll
and
be
then they'll get back
fine.
together.
Yeah, they'll get back together
Yeah,
at some point because
yeah,
it's one of those things where because they've been through so much to get together,
yeah.
it's like this is just a sort of it's a
Eve
pitfall.
might go to
But
Brighton for a couple of
yeah,
weeks,
yeah,
you
that's all she
know.
needs to do. She needs to go get pissed in
Yeah,
Brighton for a few days. Then she'll come back with a new head and she'll be fine.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it.
The main other thing with this, obviously, is that Joel found out about the termination this week, and my God, did that elicit a reaction. Okay, final section is Joel. My God, that last tirade at the end of the week, I was actually laughing out of shock by what he was saying. It was a ridiculously well
Yeah, I
written
bet we're out of
scene.
shock,
Oh
Rob.
yeah, I
Not
was
agreeing.
laughing at just like finally someone saying things that I believe in. I mean, it's good that you've had a kid, purpose served. Like Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
What? I can totally believe that people view things like this as well, though.
Can I just say the main problem they have with Joel is that unfortunately he's actually quite a smart lad in the fact that he's what 15 and he's capable of producing an academic argument as to his beliefs, which actually from the people that live on that square is not an easy thing to reply to. They can turn around to him.
You think that he's intelligent?
I do think he's intelligent, yeah, because he can create an argument that is actually really like he can create an argument with citation behind him. Because when he was saying all that stuff to Vicky about like ask any historian, I fully believe that Joel could actually then quote historians that have said stuff that works for his
Yeah, because him
argument.
and his online crew will all be like, "Oh, by the way, if anyone wants proof, here you go.
Yeah,
This guy said it in this book, and this
yeah.
guy."
I
But yeah,
think
I know what you
I
mean.
do. I think he's actually quite a smart lad in the fact that he can produce an academic argument to say what he believes in. And nobody on that square is, other than saying you're wrong. Because the other problem is that these people, when they're putting all this stuff inside these kids' heads, they're also teaching them how to respond to when people invariably say you're a
True.
sexist, you're a misogynist.
Mm.
It's not about just the beliefs that you've got. It's also about how to argue that point that they teach as well. That's how difficult this is to sort of
Yeah,
fix.
I guess in some ways he is intelligent as well because he certainly knows how to manipulate
Mm,
situations and people. So
yeah.
yeah, but whether it was an intelligent argument that he made, I mean,
I don't.
we
What I
can all
mean
quote
by
Wikipedia. Whether it's
yeah, but I don't
factual
think it is.
remains to be
I don't think it
seen.
is just Wikipedia. I think that he has gone in his room and he has gone down rabbit holes, like looking at all of this sort of all this
Jean Paul and Craig
propaganda.
Cremelia.
Fabulous people, I love them. Yeah, but I think
Yeah,
he's researched this stuff for hours and hours. This is not just a guy that's just watched one influencer online. Like he has done
no.
his research and he knows exactly how to respond
Mm.
when somebody turns around to him and says that's just misogyny. No, it's not because A, B, C, D, E. Like
Actually, in
that's
World War I, this is when all
yeah,
the gender roles changed
yeah,
and blah blah blah.
absolutely mental.
Mm.
And that
Yes,
tirade he
for the
gave to Vicky.
better.
Yeah. Yeah. But like, what the
Yeah.
hell do they do with him now?
Well, see, I've got a
The
couple
kid's not
of
well.
Well, this is it, right? Where does this go? So obviously he has no problem in hitting women. And he was
No,
going to hit Avani in the street.
he was going
Arguably,
to hit
that's not
Avani.
that
He was going to
intelligent.
hit Avani. No, I'm not saying he's intelligent because of
Yeah, I
what he
know, I
believes
know.
in, but I'm talking
I
about
know what
his
you're saying.
his ability
He can
to.
debate. He
Yeah,
can
that's what I
debate,
mean. Well,
even
you
that.
say debate. He doesn't really debate it. He
Well,
just he can
yeah.
talk.
He
He
can
can
spout at
reference.
you.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, he was going to hit Stacey back when Stacey hit him in the
Oh
Vic.
yeah, of
He was going to whack
course.
Avani in the street, which I love. Vicky just sort of appearing out of nowhere and grabbing his arm. And now he's saying to Vicky, "All you need is a good slapping. Keep pushing me, and you'll get it." It's like, oh my Christ.
Yeah, but does this? Do you know my first thought when he said that to Vicky? That's what Tommy had been doing to Kat. So actually, is Kat in danger from Tommy? Is that another angle we can see all of
Yeah, I
this
mean,
going
this is
back
the thing.
down?
I didn't think 2 weeks ago that actually Tommy was going to get brought into this world too much because I
Same.
thought, but I think after this week, I can't believe that they haven't just forbidden him from going anywhere near Joel at this point.
Right, when he was like, "Oh, I had to beg my mum to let me see you this morning." What?
Yeah.
Are you, I'm sorry, Kat.
Kat, what are you up
Bad
to, love?
parenting. Sorry,
Yes, yes,
but
yes, yes.
right.
Yes, rule number one, don't let your children go near people sprouting this shite. You know,
Yeah,
it's
exactly. Mm,
yeah, bad. I mean, so he discovers that Avani had a termination this week,
yes.
and he does not react well to it. And I think the other thing with him as well, like he has no respect for Ross whatsoever, and it's understandable why he has no respect for Ross because Ross is not dealing with this well. I try to defend Ross in terms of, the reasons as to why he might be going down this route as a parent, but at the same time, like you need to get a grip, Ross, for God's sake. And Joel is kind of taking advantage of that. He can see the weaknesses in Ross's parenting, and he is just disregarding it. He gets told, don't go near Avani." He goes and gives her a mouthful. He says, don't. He's told not, don't go near the Panasars. He's banging on their door and trying to start rows. He has no qualms about completely and utterly disregarding anything Ross says.
Yeah, because it, like you said, because he just don't respect him, does he?
No,
See, this is something I was wondering as well this week. At what point does he respect a man more than a woman in a way? Because he kept saying he wasn't scared of Ravi, and I
mm.
actually thought he should be scared. Like, would
What
his
this
brain
that,
not think I should be scared of that
that guy
masculine
that
guy that
that
he'd
guy
view
that
him
locked you in a
as?
fridge not so long
Right?
ago? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be
Didn't he
quite
try? And
scared.
he tried to break, and he held him up against the wall as well at one
Yeah,
point, didn't he?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But he weren't
yeah.
scared of him though. So where is this? Non, is he finally? Is it just he's going? I've had enough of this work because he's very much the victim in all this, isn't he?
Oh
He sees,
yeah.
as in, he sees himself as the victim. I'm
He
not
sees
saying that he
himself as the
is.
martyr, doesn't he? Like
Yeah,
it's and,
yeah,
and and I wonder if that whole thing with Ravi is more about like it's the dominant side. Like you're presumably in this world taught to be the ultimate man. You've got to take complete control and don't let any other man sort of be the one that's in charge. Which is why it's sort of
yeah,
a dog eat dog sort of scenario. But he wouldn't have two. He
yeah.
wouldn't last 2 seconds in the ring with Ravi.
Exactly, exactly. But he
But it's all
seems to
about
not be.
attitude and like oh
But
God.
this is why I was like, he doesn't think things through. Like, had he actually hit Avani, Ravi would have come after him. And I'm
Of
sorry,
course he
Ravi
would.
would pummel you. Unless that's where it's going, and actually Joel's going to be the one who loses it on Ravi. Maybe it is Ravi. Maybe Ravi's going to kill Joel or something.
Oh, I mean, I think we've got a way to go with this yet because Vicky
Yeah,
is in. I've said this. Vicky is in a lot of danger,
yeah, I
and
agree.
I've said this for a while as well. He is 2 minutes away from, at the very least, attempting to rape somebody, and actually, I can see it going to Vicky. I really, really can. Like,
Wow.
yes, it's one thing to say, yeah, I'll give you a smack about, but because actually, in terms of, I can imagine Vicky knocking him out. In all fairness, but I feel like that's where this is ultimately heading. He is going to sexually attack somebody, and it just sort of depends on who that is.
Yeah, I can see it going that way as well. Do you think Vicky's going to tell Ross about what happened straight away? Because I don't know why I think she's not going to tell him
Yeah,
about what he
yeah,
said.
I could see that being sort of one of those things that because it's if she does do that, it's because the plot needs to continue because there is
Mm,
no reason as to why she wouldn't tell Ross what he was
yeah.
saying, and also what the hell is Ross going to do about it? Because actually, realistically, at this point, they're beyond like parenting. They're beyond sort of like technology bans because he'll work his way around it. Actually, at this stage, they need to take like that ultimate thing that no parent wants to do, and they need to report him to the police, but they're not going to do that.
What do they report him for, though?
Well, everything that was on his
Oh, they got
laptop.
all the upskirting images and stuff, haven't
Yeah,
they? Yeah,
which I'm
true.
sure is easy enough to, even though, yeah, he's lost that laptop, but I'm sure,
Mm,
the cloud or whatever, it's easy
yeah.
enough to, like, he's already, he's sharing emails with people who are sending him all this sort of thing. So he's
Hmm.
clearly within that world. There's enough proof, I think, that he's at least,
Mm.
dangerous.
Or if you don't want to report him, at least, like I say, a child psychologist of some kind,
Mm,
somebody who can talk to you,
yeah,
objectively, I guess. And
yeah. I mean, the problem is this whole thing is still relatively new, so I
mm,
don't know how many resources there are to deal with these kids in this scenario.
well, this is what so I think I mentioned last week. I kind of know somebody who I'm no longer friends with,
Mm,
needless to say, whose kid went this way because of the
yeah,
father.
yeah.
And that's what they did. They ended up referring him to a child psychologist. It sounded very similar to all this, if I'm honest with you, from what I heard. And that was what I heard is that they were having to go to a child psychologist because they were saying stuff to girls in class and things like that. And it's like you said with is it the black pill, the red pill, the blue pill, whatever colour pill it
The
is.
black pill, yeah.
Once it's swallowed, that's it. There's no going back, a lot of
Oh,
say. But there must be. Because that's like when somebody's racist. I mean, look at blooming Jim Branning,
yeah,
eh?
yeah, yeah. We love Jim these, towards the end,
Yeah,
but
but
like,
he
yeah,
didn't
he
used
was
to be that
no.
tolerable of people.
Yeah. I wonder if, yes, I mean, is he redeemable? Is the thing.
This is
Like,
it.
I kind of feel like he's not. I feel like the idea
Yeah,
with Joel is to show us how bad it can get, and then they might
yeah,
sort of
the
pull Tommy
extreme.
into that world, and Tommy will be the redeemable one, and Joel's going to end up,
Yes,
let's be honest, either dead or in prison. That tends to be how these things end.
yeah,
I
definitely.
do feel like Joel is beyond help at this point. I really do.
I agree. I don't think he's redeemable.
Because how
Is
do you
his
fix
mum going to be
this?
Zoe? If his mum's
Well,
Zoe, is
this
that how
is
he's going to be redeemable? Because he's
he
actually a
is.
Slater.
Yeah, I mean, we've said this. He is so ingrained in the war with the Slaters now. There's no way that
Mm.
Zoe isn't his mum. I don't understand how Zoe's his mum, given the information we received about whoever the eldest Cleo woman is. But
And what about that line he said this week? Vicky can't tell me what to do. She ain't my mother.
they're
Blooming
trying.
heck.
They are trying, aren't
Or
they?
or it's a red herring because they know about the rumours and stuff, so they're like, let's throw that line in, really get them all talking.
Either way,
Mm.
September's coming up. This is one that big stuff happens in September.
Big stuff
So
does happen in
big stuff
September,
does
Rob.
happen in September, doesn't
Mm.
it? So it's
Looking
gonna
like it
it's gonna
probably is
peak. It's gonna
Zoe.
peak, I
Is
think.
it?
Yeah, Zoe will be back in September, and this storyline looks like it could quite happily peak in September. So
Have
I
you?
can't imagine where the hell
Well,
this is gonna go.
I've seen some TikToks, right? I don't think this is a spoiler. This is a rumor. I don't know if there's any truth into this
Tentative,
rumor. So
Nina.
a
Tentative,
slight
Nina.
Nemo
Nina.
spoiler. I do
Nina.
think it's just
Nina.
someone's made this up, though. I don't think
Okay.
there's any truth in it. I've seen it a few times on TikTok saying that there's some big Halloween storyline with Joel, and then
I've
there's
seen
like
this,
pictures
yeah.
of all the women that it could be, and
Yeah,
it does look like a rumor.
there was a
Yeah,
really good completely fake, I think, but there was a really
yeah,
nice sort of picture that someone had created with the back of Joel and then looking at all
yeah,
these pictures of the women on the
yeah,
wall. I've seen that.
yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
And
I
I've
mean,
seen
it would
people
make sense.
speculating that Anna is gonna become obsessed with Anna maybe, and that's how she's
Maybe.
gonna get written out. Which,
Yeah, I do feel like this is actually I feel like Vicky's in the most danger
mm,
because actually I feel like he sees Vicky as the biggest sort of issue as for women in his life because actually she will like stop him from trying to do things like she's the one that's constantly giving him aggro and he I think he's going to develop this obsession with sort of getting rid of Vicky or at the very least showing Vicky who's boss.
well, she's also the biggest threat to his relationship with his dad because right now he's easily able to manipulate Ross, but if she's
Mm,
there in his ear, as he'd probably say,
yeah,
then he's not going to be able to get away with stuff as much, is he?
no.
Something else we've not mentioned, by the way, the whole Stacey stuff and her secret cam videos and getting released. So, what he knows how to hack, or his mates know how
Yeah,
to do hacking as well, and he's done all of that. Is Stacey
yeah.
in danger, in more danger from him?
Probably. I mean, I feel like he maybe. I feel like he feels like he's done Stacey now. He's punished Stacey. Like he's shown the world what he
Yeah,
believes this woman is, which essentially is a sex worker,
yeah.
and that's his
What did
view.
he call it in inverted commas? Dirty little prostitute. He
Dirty little
referred to her as, didn't
prostitute.
he?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Dirty little sket.
See, I think on Joel's side, he thinks that's it, done. We'll call it quits now. But I don't think Stacey's going to let it drop. She's already been to the police. They've already said to her, "You've not got any evidence." I'm not sure Stacey's going to let it drop, especially because her and Jean
Mm.
they're seeing him that Tommy's still hanging around with Joel. Why are they not going up to Kat and being like, Kat, are
What the
you for
hell?
real?
Yeah, I know. This is the yeah. I mean, there is no sense in Tommy being allowed anywhere near him at this stage
No.
because actually, even they don't perhaps know the full extent of what Joel's
Yeah.
like yet. They've got their suspicions, but
Mm.
they have no idea, like, sort of how bad he actually is. But I think what they've seen so far would be enough for you to say you are not going within 10 miles of that lad ever again. End of your friendship.
Well, that as well. So Joel go to hit Stacey back. And then
Yeah,
she's experienced all this with Tommy. Because I'm telling you, I think Tommy's going to turn on Kat again.
no, I
I
wouldn't be
think we might see a
surprised.
bit of that.
I wouldn't be surprised at all because he's already gobbed off a couple of times, doesn't he?
Mm.
In a slightly misogynistic way, like
Yeah.
saying about like it's women's work or you're making my dinner or something like that. And this is where it starts. I
Hmm.
don't think Tom. This is what I mean when I say about Joel being intelligent and smart. I don't think Tommy could would ever be able to be able to deliver the sort of tirades and monologues that Joel is capable of. I feel like Tommy is more the sort of would just repeat what Joel said, but without having any sort of reference
Yeah.
point to it.
Yeah, I can't, I think I know what you mean as well. You could imagine him trying to have that argument that he had with Vicky and being like, because back when, and then Joel being like, World War I. Yeah, in World War I, that's
Yeah,
when,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
It's
I think somebody's going
terrifying.
to get seriously hurt from
Yeah,
Joel, but who it's going to
Vicky,
be.
Vicky, I'm telling you
Yeah, I
now,
think you might be right.
she's in a lot of danger. So, do they go all the way with this, or is it going to be stopped at the last second? Or, but either way, I think that's the direction they're heading in with Joel and
Mm.
Vicky. I really do, and it's terrifying because actually, it feels really real. Max Murray is phenomenal as Joel.
He is
He
really
is
good.
ridiculously good
Hmm.
because actually he feels like a completely real person. Like you can
Yeah,
totally see this kid walking around the streets in the real world and sprouting this stuff and being
yeah.
aggressive, and he's doing a phenomenal job. So, gold star this week, Ray.
I'm torn. I kind of want to give it to either Avani or Eve, I feel like this week.
Okay.
Do you know what? I'm going to give it. I'm edging more towards E, but I'm going to give it to Avani because I think Alia James has been really good these
Yeah, she
past few
has.
weeks.
She has.
And I don't think we've actually given her a gold star for it, so I'm going to give it to
Yeah.
Avani.
Fair play. I'm going to give mine to Eve. I think she
Yeah,
did the right thing. I think I'm glad that storyline has sort of settled into more sensible territory. It feels
right?
like I can understand where we're at with it all now. That's
Yeah,
fine. And Eve is why that has happened. So she can get a gold
yeah,
star for that.
yeah.
Final section of the podcast, ladies and gents. As usual, is some comments from you.
Starting with a comment from Virginia who says Ross has taught his son how to lie. Ross has done nothing but enable Joel. He doesn't get the Father of the Year award.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
yeah, I mean, the thing is though, it's I still stand by what I said last week with the fact that it's all about like denying that your son is that your child could possibly be this terrible a person, isn't it? And you want to completely and utterly avoid anything that directly addresses that because it makes you question your how good you are as a parent. The answer is you're crap as a parent at the moment because you're not doing anything to stop this. In fact, if anything, you are encouraging it because you are encouraging Joel to lie. You've paid off people. I mean, I know Vicky did that, but that was for him. He's not had any punishment for anything he's done really. Oh, slapped wrist and your laptop's been taken away from you for a day. Like that's
yeah, and
it.
then I'll buy you a brand new one next
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
I mean, a part of me thinks that Ross Ross may not be intelligent enough to know how to handle this.
Not at all. This is what I mean. He's a smart kid. He knows
Mm,
that. Ross couldn't have an academic argument with him. He could just say,
yeah.
I can imagine Ross, like, if he sprouted half the stuff that he had sprouted to sprouted to Vicky, to Ross this week, I can imagine Ross just being like, yeah, yeah, I can see what you
It's
mean.
clever,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
son. Clever,
yeah,
yeah. Well,
yeah,
can't
yeah,
argue with
yeah,
that, can I? Can't argue
yeah.
with that.
Exactly. Like
Mm.
it's oh dear. Stephen Steppings has said, huge shame they didn't show us Ravi and Priya's reaction to Avani having a baby and abortion, but I'm glad she didn't go through with it. I agree there. I would like to have seen the initial reaction to it. I know we sort of Suki walked in on
Yeah.
the reaction, but I would like to have seen them like actually reacting to it.
Yeah, that's true because we didn't see what they initially said as well.
Mm,
Like, we could have done with a little scene of like, why
yeah,
didn't you come to us? Why didn't you tell us? And
yeah,
it's almost like Avani didn't tell them everything straight away anyway.
yeah.
Like, At what point did Suki walk in? Had they just told her? She just told him 10 minutes
Well, yeah, because
before.
Priya
You
and
know?
Priya and Avani were sort of like hugging on the sofa.
Yeah.
There were some gorgeous like Priya and Avani scenes this week as well, weren't there? I really
There
liked that.
were. Well, we didn't mention actually that scene that she said, Joel's one of Joel's big arguments this week was, how it was his kid and he didn't get a
Murder.
say and the
Yeah, yeah.
murder. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, Joel
But
needs to understand the fact that you don't get, Daddy hasn't got any rights until Daddy goes on the birth certificate. That's just how it goes, mate. Like, get over it.
well, there is an argument actually in this as was he right? Should he have been told first? Because even Avani
No.
doubted herself and were like, should I have told him? But I think what I feel like is Joel saw it as very black and white that
Oh
every
yeah,
father should know. But I
yeah,
think there are certain situations where it may be more appropriate that you tell the other person
yeah.
involved, or these situations where it was Avani's body and her choice. Like,
Do you know what the scariest thing to imagine is that people like Joel having children and like then
God, yeah,
teaching their kids that this is, especially
passing it all on.
imagine a father like Joel with a daughter.
Mm.
Like
Or a
that's a
son, for that matter,
Well,
Rob.
yeah, with a
Any
son, like yeah. But what I'm saying
offspring.
is, imagine a father teaching his daughter that this is her role in life and this is all you're
Mm.
for. Like this is
Don't
what's
bother doing
happening.
well at school because all you're here for is to
It's
breed.
to push a
So,
kid out. Yeah, no,
yeah.
it's terrifying. It
Mm.
really is.
We've got a comment here from Maggie May who says, I think he's going to assault Vicki, Avani, or Priya. Also, I was not on board with this theory of Zoe being Joel's mother, but now I'm not so sure because in tonight's episode he said, she's not my mother about Vicki. Was it just a coincidence or did it mean something? Or maybe the writers are just having fun toying with us.
Possibly. I mean, look,
This is it.
let's talk about the idea of Zoe being Joel's mum and sort of
Yeah.
like the implications behind it. Because,
Mm.
like we said last week, we know how soaps work. We understand the structure of when pawns are put in place for as big a reveal as possible. And this definitely feels like the return of Zoe being Joel's mum is like the biggest cataclysmic bombshell that could be dropped into this situation at this time. What the hell happens if Zoe is his mum? Like, where does the story go? Like, what is Joel's reaction to that? What is
Well,
the
Joel
Slater?
knows, doesn't he?
What is the Slater's
Oh, but I guess he
reaction?
doesn't know that she's related to all the Slaters and
Yeah, that's what I
stuff.
mean.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
like
she's clear,
and what are
whatever her
the
surname she's going
yeah,
by.
I still don't understand how that's gonna play out. But and what are the Slater's reactions? Basically, the idea that he's half Slater.
Especially with what he's done with Stacey and everything. I mean, this is it. Will they take him under his wing because they're like, oh, he's Zoe's kid? Or will they be like, Zoe, like, you need to get in there fast and this
It's
is
look
what
what
you
you've
need to
done.
do?
I mean, the thing is, he's blamed. It seems to be the genesis of Joel's like attitude
Hmm.
towards women is based on the fact that his mum left him.
And that not only did she leave them, but it's because she cheated on
Yeah,
Ross.
and
So
then
that
what
only adds
he's
fuel to his current way of
yeah,
thinking,
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
it?
And then what? Because the thing is, actually, at the basis of Joel, I think, is a very lonely individual because he is
Mm.
lonely because he has no idea how to interact with other human beings at all. Like when he strolled into the hot tub party, like, he turns around and goes, "Right, look for a boyfriend then." And it's like you're useless at this. You've got no interactional skills whatsoever. Like you could be an intelligent academic without being a particularly emotionally intelligent person, which
Yeah.
is what, and
Or
he's
street smart in some way, I
yeah,
guess. Yeah.
and it was interesting when like Ross was having a go at him and he started crying. I do genuinely believe that those tears were real as well.
Yeah, because like, oh, what you think? What did he say? You think I'm
You think I'm a
weird or
freak?
something like?
Yeah, you
You
don't
think?
think I'm
Yeah,
normal.
yeah,
You don't think I'm normal. It's sort of like he genuinely is so twisted that he believes that
yeah.
his view is the normal one. He's the complete martyr in this situation,
Mm,
and he can see it as him against the world. That's dangerous
yeah,
because he's got
it
nothing
is,
to
and this
lose.
is. It comes back to the argument of is he redeemable? Because you're saying is this lonely kid under it, but I think had we seen, we didn't really see much of Joel before we found out his
No.
nature. So maybe if we'd have seen the development of this and maybe like we're probably going to see with Tommy that he's a good kid and then oh we're seeing that he's been influenced by all this but all we've seen of Joel is this incel nature. Rob, can't believe you called episode that by the way last week, my son the
I got some
incel.
I got some stuff online saying that it's not the same thing. Actually, you look into it and it does all sort of branch out from the same
Well,
sort of
wait,
place.
we're
Yes,
saying we're
involuntary
all,
celibates
yeah,
is a different thing, but
that which is what incel originally stood for.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it does branch out into these kind of mad misogynistic views that you sort of,
Yeah.
yeah, there
It's
is a
not
basis to it.
necessarily the literal meaning
Yeah,
anymore of being
no.
celibate, because I think
Like
that's
so
what
many
everyone
of
was
these,
saying.
yeah, like so
Yeah.
many of these things, like it then branches out into sort
Yeah.
of other areas, doesn't it? In
Yeah.
sort of umbrella term for it all. Um, but yeah, the idea of Zoe coming back and realizing, I mean, I'm hesitant to say this because this does imply that I'm blaming Zoe for Joel's behavior, which I'm not. But like, she would see it as like this is what I've done to my son, wouldn't she? In terms of like, the mother brain coming out for it.
Well, I mean, you'd think she'd have mum guilt, or
Yeah,
would she see it as this is the bad job you've done with our son, Ross? Because
I can see Zoe doing that very, very heavily as well. Yeah, especially once Kat starts giving it all that to her as well. Like, and she's
even it,
right, and she's right. I'm not
yeah,
saying that Ross has been useless in this situation, but
we kind of need to understand why Joel's mum, whether it is Zoe or a woman called Cleo, did leave. Because
yeah,
if it's Zoe, it would actually kind of make sense
mm,
if they then say, oh, well, if she goes, well, I were in trouble with these men and I didn't want them to come for you. So actually, she could even turn around and go, I never cheated on your dad. I just said it so that
yeah,
he'd bring you up because I thought you'd be safer that way.
yeah.
That could be a way around it all. And it turns out these dodgy men are after her. What it's for, I've got no idea, but.
Jen has said, after watching the ending to this week's episode in horror, I saw so many parallels of the scene with Joel and Vicki versus Linda and Dean sitting on the Vic sofa all those years ago. Vicki telling him she loves him in a maternal way. I remember Linda saying the same thing to Dean, and then Dean misreading the signals, yeah, to say the least. I really do think Vicki is going to be his target after that scene. Can't wait for Sharon to come back. I feel she's the only woman who will be able to knock some sense into him. Cannot stand Joel, literally makes my skin crawl. Really can't see him being anything other than Zoe's son as well, sadly, just as he's brainwashing Tommy. There has to be a reason he's so interlinked with the Slaters already. So it's
Yeah.
all there, isn't it? It's all there for
Yeah.
it to be the biggest sort of cataclysmic reveal that they can make it.
Hmm.
And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that we've kind of guessed it, because sometimes it's quite satisfying to see these things that make sense for then the cherry on the cake to have been the actual reveal. Yeah, I mean, Sharon coming back. Sharon will be back soon because Letitia Dean is back filming again. Can you imagine Sharon's reaction to this kid?
I can, but I can also imagine Joel being like, you're one to talk to Sharon, throwing all
Mm,
Keanu stuff back at her, and
Sharon will knock him out.
well, do you know what? It would be interesting, but I don't see why he would get involved. He's got enough on his plate. But somebody like Phil would potentially be somebody who could get through to Joel.
Yeah, that'd be
Tommy,
interesting.
he's
Yeah,
still got his
via
relationship with
Phil. Yeah,
Tommy. I
via
don't think he
via.
will, but it would maybe be a good person to get
Mm.
involved. Got one last comment here from Glitchy Dates who says, Erky's grooming is ramping up this week with the gifts. He's now made himself look like the hero to manipulate getting a key to Kojo's flat. I hope Harry gets some help as we're heading into a cuckooing situation.
Doing Ree, what's that all about then?
Well, according to the Salford Safeguarding Adults Board, cuckooing is when criminals target the home of a vulnerable person, often so they can use the property for criminal purposes such as drug dealing, hiding weapons, and other criminal activities. The term comes from the behaviour of cuckoo birds who take over the nests of other birds. A criminal will often befriend a vulnerable person in order to exploit them and use their property. The person is usually intimidated and too scared to report it to anyone.
Interesting. So yeah,
Mm.
that sounds about
There is
right,
a
doesn't
name
it? Yeah,
for
there
it.
is a name
Yeah.
for it. Cool. So that's interesting, an actual issue. Yeah, I mean, it sums it up. That's pretty much exactly what he's doing, isn't it? And Harry is pretty screwed, I think, in this situation.
Well, this is what I'm thinking now. So maybe it won't be that Kojo goes to prison or takes the. I mean, it could still happen, but
Mm,
maybe he will realise what's happening, and Erky and his gang are maybe going to start being
maybe.
physical with him or threatening him in some way.
Yeah,
And then, yeah, he doesn't know how to handle it. But yeah, what's Harry going to do? Because if he's living there, like, could they
yeah.
just not get the keys changed, like the locks changed? Oh, he might
It's going to
threaten the
take more than that.
family,
Yeah,
threaten
it's
all
going
the
to take more than
knights.
that. Yep, it's
Mm.
too late. They're in. They are absolutely in. Right, that's it, ladies and gents. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can do the following.
You can find us on Facebook at Albert Square After Dark, on Twitter and Instagram at E20 After Dark. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can listen to us on Apple and wherever you find your podcasts. Email us at e20afterdarkpodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to buy us a coffee, you can do so by going on buymeacoffee.com/ E20 After Dark.
Yes, you can indeed. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. We shall be back same time next week. And until then, it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
See you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.